Hey Saints, welcome back to another week of SFHS Today. I'm Austin Adler.
And I'm Ronan Iverson.
Gun control has taken over the national and local discussions following the attack that killed 17 people in Florida and recent school closures because of threats throughout Minnesota. Although legislators have been slow to take action, two major retailers, Walmart and Dick's Sporting Goods, have made the decision to limit sales to people under the age of 21. Reporters Montana Levi, Sam Glebinski, and Jake Hansen spoke with some people about whether or not guns should be harder to attain.
We currently have an age limit of 21 to purchase a handgun. And I personally have no problem with setting that same age limit for buying a long gun. Additionally, we have to understand that it's not the style of the rifle that's the problem. An AR-15 that shoots a .223 Remington shell is the same as a .223 Remington hunting rifle, except that it's been modified and made to look a lot tougher. We can get rid of the style, but a .223 Remington standard will still take the same clip, shoot the same number of bullets at the same rate. So really, I think we also need to look at how are we going to allow these weapons to be modified when they are purchased. I think also finally another access question is access to good mental health. The recent shooter in Florida had a long history of mental health issues. One of the problems is that he decided not to take the help that was offered to him. In our schools today, we have to understand that mental health of our students is very important, and we can't allow our schools to remove mental health professionals from our district, from our schools, or from our communities because they do provide a valuable service to our community.
Of course, is that I don't think that the general public, your average everyday citizen, should necessarily have access to AR-15s or these automatic guns. As for hunting, like hunting rifles and stuff, I get that. I understand that. I'm a hunter myself, but keep the military guns to military and law enforcement personnel. That's my personal opinion.
I don't think the gun should be taken away. I think it's mostly just who has the gun and what their history is.
In more local news, school budget cuts are on the minds of the community of St. Francis. The school board voted to accept the proposed cuts of $3.7 million on Monday, February 26th. While we told viewers that we would have an interview with Superintendent Troy Ferguson, he declined to go on camera but gave the following answers to our questions. Austin spoke with Ferguson prior to the board approving the cuts.
Here are some of the important issues we addressed with Superintendent Ferguson, which came from questions students wanted to ask. Students wanted to know why the school board voted to give themselves a 1.9% raise and reinstated the superintendent's contract, also including a raise in January, if they knew major budget cuts were on the horizon. Ferguson said every year in January there's an organizational meeting to where raises are determined. The school board elected to give themselves a 1.9% raise, which Ferguson said was a very minute amount. Ferguson also said they had predicted declining enrollment over the years, but did not think it would be this dramatic or happen this fast. Ferguson said that some of the declining enrollment at the high school does come from PSEO students. He could not predict how big classes would be at the high school, but he did say there would be an increase. While some staff at the high school has been verbally informed that their contracts will not be renewed next year, the final cuts will not be official until the end of March. After-school activities are not expected to see any cuts. However, the coaching and advising staffs may change.
We'll keep you updated as things progress.
Speaking of money issues, there are a number of students who find it necessary to work in order to support themselves looking toward the future. Reporters Paige Aldrich and Mike Connor went and spoke with the hardworking students of St. Francis.
Where do you work?
Dairy Queen.
How often do you work?
Depends on the week. I'd say probably anywhere from 25 to 35.
What are the struggles with working and going to school?
Probably because Soon we're gonna start closing at 10:30 or 10, meaning that I probably won't get home till 10:30, 11. So that kind of sucks.
Do you think it's a good idea to have a job while in school?
Yeah, just so you have the money. And Dairy Queen's hiring right now, so go get applications.
Where do you work?
Finish Line Express,
How often do you work?
35 hours a week.
What do you like about working?
I get to drive forklift.
Do you think it's a good idea to have a job while in school?
Depends how many hours you work.
Where do you work?
I work construction after school,
How often?
like 3 hours, 4 hours every day after school.
What are the struggles with working and going to school?
Not making enough money.
Do you think it's a good idea to have a job while in school?
I feel like it's better to go to work instead of go to school.
How often do you work?
Like 20 hours a week.
What do you like about working?
It's fun, something to do. Makes money.
What are the struggles with working and going to school?
Not a whole ton of time for homework.
Do you think it's a good idea to have a job while in school?
Yes, because you need the money to continue your schooling.
Prom is next month and the students of St. Francis are getting excited, but we have a few warnings about drunk driving and how you can suspect a drunk driver. Bailey Reitz, Emily Nernberger, and Maddie Chester went out to get more information.
Initially, you're going to be looking for the different types of driving behavior, of course, whether they're swerving back and forth over the lane, back and forth, increased rates of speed, decrease, like that. Once we get up to the vehicle, we're looking first. Our first clue is our nose and what we can smell, because even if you don't have anything in the vehicle, you always radiate the odor of alcohol.
Drunk driving affects you in a lot of different ways. When people are under the influence of drugs or alcohol and they're driving, it really affects their ability to be able to drive well in general. It impacts their reaction time. A lot of times people will pass out behind the wheel, and that can lead to car crashes.
So when students check in at Grand March at St. Francis High School, they should be prepared to have teachers greet them at that door. And one of the things that we're doing with greeting them at the door is to make sure that we are not smelling any alcohol or any other consumption on their bodies or their breath. So if we should smell something, I will ask the students to have a conversation with one of our principals. If our principals believe they are under any kind of influence, we will hand them over to the St. Francis Police Department.
Just, try to give them other options. Say, hey, if you know that they've been drinking, just say, it's really not a good idea for you to get behind the wheel. Maybe you think you can drive, because there's always that moment when someone's been drinking, they're like, oh, I'm good, I got this. But really, you never got it. So, give them other options like a taxi or an Uber or a Lyft, or maybe you have a sober friend that can drive. Be safe, don't drink and drive, and if you're under the age of 21, don't drink.
March 19th, there will be an aviation forum for students interested in flying. People can sign up in the Career Center. Reporters Maggie Winkle and Katie Bjork got the scoop.
The Aviation Career Forum is happening on Monday, March 19th. From 9 a.m. to 1:45, and it is at the Earl Brown Heritage Center in Brooklyn Center. This forum is for high school students to find out about different career fields in aviation, in aerospace, in engineering.
I think the biggest reason why I want to be a flight attendant is because I love to travel. And it's something that I was planning on doing for a long time, no matter what career I was going to go into. And that's another thing that led me to be a flight attendant, is because I really don't have any kind of idea of what other kind of career I wanted to go into, what I would go to college for, that kind of thing. I didn't have anything in particular, so I decided, why not become a flight attendant? My uncle was a flight attendant for 10 years, made really good money, and you got to travel the world, see different kind of people and all that fun stuff.
It is a free event and lunch is provided. We will not have a bus, so students will have to provide their own transportation. But if you are interested in attending, please see me in the Career Center. There's going to be speakers talking about different career fields. You're going to be able to find out what kind of colleges you would want to attend to have different career fields in aviation. So if you want more information or are interested in signing up, please see me in the Career Center.
Before we go, Maddie Chester, Bailey Reitz, and Emily Nernberger had some fun with MN Trivia.
What is the Minnesota state fish? Minnesota is commonly known as what? What is the Minnesota state sport? What is the Minnesota state flower? Where does Minnesota rank in size compared to the rest of the states?
Now we'll pass it off to sports. Stay safe, Saints.
On the Wednesday before break, SFHS hosted the Mississippi 8 weightlifting competition. Over 40 SFHS athletes competed, with Trevor Bodie taking third place in the under 81-pound class. In the 48 and under class, Zach Roselick took first, John Bauer took second, and Jacob Bergman was third. Aaron Molkness, or Hank, had second in the 198 and under class. Before the break on Tuesday, February 24th, boys basketball beat Chisago Lakes with a score of 77-63. On the Friday before break, they had a game against Princeton. And on March 7th, the playoffs began. Girls basketball had sections game against Blaine on the 28th, which they won, allowing them to continue to their game on Saturday, 3rd. Junior Felicia Bartell headed to state. Tanner Kunchner, Zach Gust, and Cole Kerpak spoke with her and Jesse Merglin about the accomplishment.
How did you qualify for the state tournament?
At sections, you have to get top 4 on an event to make it to state, and I made it on vault and bars.
How do you feel about making it to the state tournament for the second year?
It's exciting.
Where is the state tournament held?
At the sports pavilion in Minneapolis.
What have Felicia and Summer done that made them deserve to go to state?
They worked really hard, and they have a lot of cool skills that they got to show off at state, which I thought was really neat.
How is your guys' season looking next year?
Next year, it looks really good. We're going to have a lot of 8th graders, and hopefully a few 7th graders will get to join as well.
4 wrestlers, Cole Kerpak, Tanner Kunchner, and Mitchell Wilson, and Nick Pierce, made it to the state wrestling. We sent Hope Erlin and Owen Lukow to speak with them about their season.
How did you make state?
I placed top 2 in the section.
How do you both feel about making state?
I feel really relieved and happy and excited to go wrestle at the state tournament. It's a pretty fun experience. Should be a good time.
I'm pretty happy. Got the good results, and me and my boy, it's our 3rd time, and hopefully bring home some hardware.
Exactly.
How do you feel to be going to state?
It's very exciting, coming back from injury and then competing with top 16 kids. And stuff.
I'm really proud of the 4 wrestlers that made it to the state tournament. There's 3 seniors that put a lot of time into wrestling. It's basically been their life since they've been little kids, and so it's really nice to see all of their efforts and everything else pay off for them. I know Mitchell Wilson is seated way up there, so is Tanner, so is Cole. Nick Pierce, as a junior, qualifying as a heavyweight is a nice accomplishment. He got a really tough bracket. He's got the defending state champion possibly in the 2nd round for him. But I look forward to going down there and watching our kids, and I think they're going to compete really well and represent our school to the best of their abilities.
Many winter sports are coming to a close, and here is Lydia Gonzalez and Amanda Jordan to go with the SFHS Winter Sports Recap.
Our season didn't really go how we wanted it to, but we really look to improve next year. We have a young team this year, and we're gonna have a lot of seniors next year and be a lot better than everyone else, hopefully.
We've gradually got like a lot better though. Towards the beginning of the season, we used to have a lot of turnovers that killed us in games, but now we've gotten that issue fixed up as we get better in practice each day. It's gotten games have gotten a lot more competitive for us.
Overall, we've had a pretty good season. We've had some bumps in the roads, definitely, but we're pushing through together, and we have sections next week. We have a shot at state, too.
This year we did really good. We made history because we became Kit Conference champs and Jazz Conference champs, which we've never done before.
And we hope to have that good of a season next year.
Our season went well this year. We ended with a winning record, and it's been a while since we've done that on the hockey team. We're losing a lot of seniors this year, so hopefully the young kids can step up next year and we can have another good season.
At the beginning of the season, we were doing good. We had like a 7-game winning streak, but then after that, we started to lose a lot. But I think next year we can improve more.
This past wrestling season was pretty good. We had a decent record.
We did very well as a team. Yeah, we only lost a few
a
times.
couple strong individual wrestlers. Made some good memories.
Should have a good next year's season. We had a really good season this year. It's kind of sad it's come to an end.
Our gymnastics team, I think, did really well this year. Since we're such a young team, I think we really peaked at the end.
Now that spring break is over, spring sports are starting to gear up. We'll have more on spring sports season with all of the volunteer SFHS media crew this trimester. If you're interested in joining us, go see Miss Mo in Route 238. That's all we have for you this week, Saints.